Welcome to another Fast Tips video brought to you by accesslearningzone.com. We are continuing with the association database. This is part 9. And in part 9, we're going to do a major revision, which always happens in every project. A major revision. We're going to switch family over to groups. So in addition to just a single family type, one family, we could have multiple families. We could have families and companies. We could have companies and clubs. We could have interests. We can have all kinds of stuff instead of just a single family. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to tear apart your database and stick all this stuff in there. You ready? Here we go. Okay, folks. One of the nice things about building a database slowly over time like this and posting the videos as we go along is I get to get your feedback on how you think the database should move forward. Now, I've gotten tons of emails from literally hundreds of different people that had their ideas on what they would like to see added to this database. And yeah, most of them are great ideas. Some of them are too specific for this database, because I'm trying to make something that's going to have mass appeal for everyone. But of course, your copy of the database, you can do whatever you want with it. You could take it and put the Legos together however you see fit. So I'm trying to pick the features and the functionality that I think most people are going to want. Now, a couple of themes that came up from the different emails that I received and a few conversations we've had in the forums on my website is that people want to see, in addition to families, okay, they also want to see other types of groups added for people, such as a company, all right, a person can belong to a company, different types of groups that they might belong to. Could be like a youth group in the church, that kind of thing. And we're going to have memberships. We're going to still do that. Don't worry about that. This will be for like paid memberships and stuff. But people want a more generic way to group people together. So what I think we're going to do is we're going to get rid of family and we're going to get rid of person type. And we're going to make a more generic group that we could put people in. And people can be in multiple groups. So right now what we have is we have a one-to-many relationship. All right, where a person can only be in one family, for example. Okay, but you might also have situations where you got kids that might belong to multiple families. You know, mom and dad divorced and they got kids, and the kids are in there as people, but they belong to two separate families. So, and both of those families still go to the same organization, church, whatever. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to switch this around to a many-to-many relationship, and instead of having just one family ID that you can be assigned to, and one person type ID, all right, we're going to make it a group table, and then a person can be in multiple groups. So this is going to require a junction table. Now, is this bad database design from the beginning? There's a specific reason why I decided to do this, because in almost every project that I've been involved in my 30 years of consulting, there eventually comes a time when the client wants a major revision. All right, this, so what you got's working fine, but can we make it do this? So I thought it would be helpful for you to see how I would now go through and take this stuff out and build the other stuff in, because I've had to do this in almost every major project that I've worked on. And it's not through any lack of preparation on my own part. Well, I'll sit down with the client and we'll flesh everything out on paper. We'll make everything look good, and they sign off on it. But then sometimes, once you start actually using the database, you see a limitation that you didn't foresee when you were preparing it. And they're like, yeah, but I want to change it to this. So you have to go in and open up the hood and pull some parts out of the engine and put some different parts in. Like I said, I've had to do this more times than I can count. You will have to do this if you are a consultant. And I can't stress this enough. Make sure that you get the client to sign off on the design before you build the thing. Because if this happens, if you start, if you finish the database and the client's been working with it and they're like, well, we really wanted to do this, you can at least go back to the signed contract and say, well, you signed off on it as this. I'm happy to do it for you, but it's going to take X amount of more time and X amount of more money for me to do it. Like I said, this has happened in probably, I'm going to say at least half of the projects I built, where they're like, okay, yeah, that looks perfect. We got all the forms fleshed out on paper, and they still want changes made, and that happens. Just be ready for it. It's part of being a consultant. Do it, but just let them know that it's on their dime. So this is on your dime. Okay, so I'm going to make a list down here of what we have to do. Okay, we're going to delete the family T. We're going to create a group. We're going to create a group table, and we're going to create a person X group junction table. Okay. We're going to in person T. We are going to delete the person type ID and the family ID. And we're going to get rid of the person type ID in the helper table. In helper T data, delete person type ID. We no longer need those. We're going to make those, all of these are going to be groups. Now, we can have group classifications. You can have groups of groups. In other words, I'm going to say let's do a helper type, which is going to be called group type. You see what I'm saying? So your group type, so we're not going to have a person type here anymore. We're going to have a group type ID. And that'll have your list of different kinds of groups. What type of group is this? Is it a family? Is it a company? Is it a club? Is it a whatever? Okay, and then the actual junction table will store both of those things. And that way later on, we can filter from the list. So if you want to go through the list of families, you can just pick that group type ID. Okay, so this will be replaced with a group table, right? This will have a group ID, which is the primary key, a description. We no longer need a head person. Notes and date created. I think that's probably all we need. Of course, the group type ID. We'll slide that down. You know what? I hate how Excel does that. Keep the background color, Excel. Copy, paste, group type ID. And let's change this guy's color just a little bit. Just a little bit. Where are you? Maybe we'll go that light blue. Okay. Over here, we'll get rid of the person type and make that a. Oh no. We don't need it. We don't need fields in here. We have to delete those fields because now we need a second junction table, which I'm not going to put on the roadmap. I don't usually put junction tables on my roadmaps. They're just assumed. All right, so let's switch over to the database now and make these changes. Here's my association 8. I'm going to copy that. All right, we can make this association 9. And take this old association 8 and drop it in your backup folder. Okay, remember to do that. All right, let's open this guy up. All right, first thing, you got to be careful when you just start deleting stuff willy-nilly. Because remember, this family T, okay, is, we got a family list here. You've got your person list here. And if you open up this guy, there's a family combo box here. So you're going to have a lot of places where it can't find stuff. But, sometimes I think that's even better. Because at least if you delete this and then recreate it as something new, Access isn't going to try to rename the components for you, and then you'll know something is missing, as opposed to some sneaky error because it's trying to find, if you rename this to the group table, it's going to find some sneaky way of renaming the fields, and it just messes things up sometimes. So just be aware of when you do that. So I'm going to delete that family table. Okay, delete, gone. And let's create a group table. Table design. All right, group ID, auto number. Group type ID, that'll be a number that's going to come from my helper table. A description, short text. Notes, long text, and date created, which will be my date time, and we'll put down here in the default value equals now. Save it. This will be my group table. Primary key, yes. And we can put some data in here now. Actually, before we do that, let's set up the group type IDs. So start off with the helper type table. We no longer need person type, which is helper type 1. So if you go into the helper T, you can find all the helper type 1s. Let's sort this ascending. We can delete all of these. Okay. Now, Person type 1, gone. Now down here, and you could, if you want to replace 1 with group, I don't care. That's fine too. But it doesn't matter. Remember, those IDs are meaningless to you. They're meaningful for your code because the different combo boxes have to know to pull on that ID. But as far as you're concerned, it shouldn't matter whether it's a 956 or a 2. All right, so now we're going to put in here group types. All right, that's going to be type 9. All right, so come back over here in the helper table now. Now, group 9 is going to have a list of all of the types of groups in the database. So the first thing is going to be a family. Okay, see, company, club. What are other types of groups you might want to put people in? You could even have a list of interests. Whoops, 9 interests, right? Is this person like Star Trek? That could be a group. Put them in the Star Trek interest group, right? And the Picard family in the Starfleet company. See? All right, these are group types. All right. So that's all set. Now let's go to our person table. Design that. We no longer need person type ID. Now, this assumes you don't need to save the data that's in there. I'm assuming we're at pre-production, and you should always do this with your databases, right? Even when you think the database is finished, you need to tell the client, don't start using this with actual data that you care about until we're done, like with version 1.1. All right, because if you got to save the data that's in here, now you got a whole bunch of append queries and stuff going on. So no. All right, we're in pre-production, so it's safe to delete the person type. And it's, oh, hang on. Oh, we got indexes. Okay, yeah, that's fine. And the family ID can be deleted as well. Okay. Now I don't need any more fields added to the person table because groups will be handled in a junction table. So let's create that junction table. Okay, this will be the person X group ID, which will have a person ID and a group ID. And that's it. If you want to put a date in here, a date created, that's okay. Or you could put notes in here if you wanted to. This represents the relationship between that person and that group. So if you want to keep track of like when they were added to the group, that's up to you. If you want to put notes in here, anything you want to add that has to do with this specific relationship. All right, the transaction of adding this person to the group. Generally, you don't need to. Okay, so we're going to save this as person X group T. And if you don't know what I'm doing, if this seems weird to you, then make sure you go watch that many-to-many video, okay, where I cover this in a lot more detail. All right, now we can close this, save changes if you need to. All right, now when you go to open up a person, you're going to see that family doesn't work, and person ID is not going to work either. Which we don't. Do we put person? Oh, person types down here. That's not going to work either. So let's get rid of those. Design view, nuke family, and person type ID. And let's see. I'm going to leave most of the rest of this the way that it is. We're going to make groups be another one of these guys over here. Okay. Let's put some sample data in. Actually, let's see what we got here. Family list. Yeah, the family list isn't going to work. We have a family form. Where are you? Family form is not going to work. Family list form is not going to work. All right, now the family list form we can pretty much keep. We can just turn that into a group form. But the family form itself has got some weird stuff in it that we did, where this is a list of people in the family and the head person ID. We had some cool tricks in here. Consider that a learning experience. We're going to delete this guy and rebuild it. So let's delete family F. Right click, delete. Where are you? Delete. And the family list form, we're going to convert that over to a list of groups. But right now we don't have a list of groups, do we? So we have in the helper table, in the helper type, we've got 9 as group types. Okay. And we've got the group types listed here. But we don't have any actual groups, so let's make some actual groups. It's easier to see with all this stuff open. Okay, so group type ID. Let's put a list of families in here. Okay, we got Picard. We got, I'm sorry, this group type ID here, this is actually going to be a helper ID. So it's 58. All right. In other words, helper type 9, okay, is group types. So these are all group types. That group, that helper ID actually means families. So over here, the group type ID is going to be 58 is family. Okay, another 58 for Rost. Another 58 for House of Moog. All right. Another 58 for Riker. See how this works? Another 58. These are all your list of families. All right, Jones. Okay, now, group 59 is going to be what? Companies. Okay, so 59, ABC Corp. 59, Amicron. Right? 59, XYZ Inc. And so on. 59, Microsoft, whatever. Okay. Clubs, 60, 61 interests. So what are your interests? 61. This guy's a Trekkie. Right? 61. Book club. Whatever. 61. Guy likes Firefly. 61. Star Wars fan. Okay, see how this is working now? And you could put a person in as many of these groups as you want. How do you do that? Well, now you take the group T and the person T and you mix those together with your junction table. Okay, here's your person, here's your people, there's your groups, here's your junction table. Right in the middle. Trying to make everything fit. Okay, so person type 1, that's me. I'm in Rost family, which is group 2. Me, I'm a Trekkie, I'm in group 10, which I can see that group 10 means it's a interest. Okay, let's keep going. Person 1 is in group 7. That's a company type, Amicron. All right, let's go. Let's move down to Jean-Luc Picard. 4. That's Jean-Luc Picard. 4. Okay. He's in the Picard family, which is group ID 1. 4. He's also in XYZ Inc. That's group 8. He's also in the book club. That's 11. See how this works? Okay. Now, if you want to list a person with all of their groups, that's an easy query to make. All right, so create, query design, bring in the person, bring in the junction table, bring in the group table, and you also want that group type ID, right? That's going to be part of the helper table. All right, and these two things don't necessarily mix directly because the field names are different, but this helper ID matches this group type ID, right? So click, drag, and connect those. Then I can bring in the person, their name. You can skip the junction table because that's just linking them together. All right, bring in the description of the group, and then the helper value will give you that group type. And now if you run that, there you go. See? Richard, that's me. The different groups I'm in. There's my family, there's my interests, there's my company. And you could have multiples of these. You put me in multiple interest groups. Here, let me save this. Person X group Q. All right, put me in multiple interests. So again, we'll have to pull those tables up. So a person type is 1 for me, right? Person list, I'm 1. Okay. And the group table has the types in it. All right, all the interests are down here, group type 61. So in that junction table, all right, that's just the date there, don't worry about that. All right, here's me. I'm going to also add me to All right, I'm already in 61, right? Group ID is 10. I'm already in 10, which is Trekkie. I'm going to add myself to 11. I'm going to add myself to 12, which is Firefly. And I'm going to add myself to 13, which is Star Wars fan. All right, and now save changes. Yes. Come back to that query that we made. And now you can see I'm in all of those interest groups. And if this seems confusing, this is not easy stuff, folks. This is expert level material for my courses. But this is many-to-many relationships, and mastering many-to-many relationships is not easy. It took me a while when I first was starting to learn this stuff. So go watch that many-to-many video. And if you really want to get a good handle on this stuff, Access Expert 7. I spend a lot of time covering many-to-many relationships, hour and a half. All right, all kinds of stuff. We do products from multiple vendors. Same thing, groups, junctions, customers. Okay, lots of different stuff. I also have a relationship seminar where I cover all of the different types of relationships in detail. Right, one-to-many, one-to-one, many-to-many, self-joins, reverse relationships, all kinds of different stuff. So many different examples in here that we cover of different types of relationships. Here's all the different lessons we go over. Many-to-many, lots of stuff with many-to-many. So I'll put links to both of these things down below if you want to learn more about many-to-many relationships. In the next part of the association videos, part 10, we'll build the forms to get this stuff so we can pick it for each person. What we're going to do is, we'll change this over to a group list so we can see a list of groups, just like the family list. And then we'll have it where we can put people in the groups and then put groups on the people. So on the person form, for example, you'll be able to open this up, click a button, and then pick what groups they're in. And then we'll do the same thing in reverse. You'll be able to open up the groups and then pick what people are in that group. And then eventually we'll filter the group list so you can pick just families, just interests, and so on. So probably won't get to all of that in part 10, but that's what's coming up. All right, we'll see you next time. So there you go, folks. There is your association fast tip for today. Live long and prosper. I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and post any comments you may have. I do try to read and answer all of them as soon as I can. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, which is completely free, and click on the bell icon to select all to receive notifications when new videos are posted. Make sure you click the Show More link down below the video to find additional resources and links. You'll see a list of other videos, additional information related to the current topic, free lessons, and lots more. YouTube no longer sends out email notifications when new videos are posted, so if you'd like to get an email every time I post a video, click on the link to join my mailing list. Even if you don't want to become a member, feel free to donate to my tip jar. Your patronage is greatly appreciated and will help keep these free videos coming. I got puppies to feed. How do you become a member? Click on the Join button below the video. After you click the Join button, you'll see a list of all the different membership levels that are available, each with its own special perks. Silver members and up will get access to all of my extended cut tech help videos, one free beginner class each month, and more. Gold members get access to download all of the sample databases that I build in my tech help videos, plus my code vault, where I keep tons of different functions that I use. You'll also get a higher priority if you decide to submit any tech help questions to me, and you'll get one free expert class each month after you've finished the beginner series. Platinum members get all the previous perks, plus even higher priority for tech help questions, access to all of my full beginner courses for every subject, and one free developer class each month after you finish the expert classes. These are the full-length courses found on my website, not just for Access too. I also teach Word, Excel, Visual Basic, and lots more. You can now become a Diamond sponsor and have your name or company name listed on a sponsors page that will be shown in each video as long as you're a sponsor. You'll get a shout out in the video and a link to your website or product in the text below the video and on my website. But don't worry, these free tech help videos are going to keep coming. As long as you keep watching them, I'll keep making more, and they'll always be free. Now, if you have not yet tried my free Access Level 1 course, check it out now. It covers all the basics of Microsoft Access. It's over 4 hours long, and I just updated it for 2021. You can find it on my website or on my YouTube channel. I'll include a link below that you can click on. And also, if you like Level 1, Level 2 is just $1.
Yep, that's all. $1, and it's free for all members of my YouTube channel at any level, even supporters. Want to have your question answered in a video just like this one? Visit my tech help page on my website. You can send me your question there. While you're on my site, feel free to stop by the Access Forum. Lots of good conversations happening there. Be sure to follow my blog, find me on Twitter, and of course, YouTube. Once again, my name is Richard Ross. Thank you for watching this Tech Help video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you learned something today. I'll see you again soon.